Hi, it's me, Vicky. Welcome back to Bell Book and Candle. With the release of the Courtyard Oasis kit, I decided to renovate an old building of mine. I made this ugly boxy house thing back in 2017 when I was playing as a photographer living with her family. At the time, there wasn't much authenticity I could put into this build, and I had to make do with the boho shit from the movie Hangout pack. I don't know if this build looks more authentic now, but like the reno I did when Snowy Escape came out, hopefully this looks passable now. I speed through a lot of the demolition and reconstruction, but the video does slow down at around 6.5 minutes in. What started off as a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom house becomes a 2-bedroom and 3-bathroom house with, of course, the Courtyard Oasis add-on. I went on YouTube to look at riad tours and saw that each bedroom seems to always have a private bathroom, but instead here I've given each bedroom a private balcony. I don't remember how much the original build cost, but by the time I was finished, the final amount was 115,569 simoleons. I also used a lot of CC when I first built the house, so by the time I got to renovating it, it was a lot more empty and cheaper than it probably was originally. I changed the exterior of the building to white from the bright blue that I had it. I wasn't afraid to use color back then, but now I realize the ideas for maybe modesty or privacy on the outside and a lot more self-expression on the inside. I got rid of the domes because they look kind of silly to me with the way that Sims implements round roofs. For some of the outside areas, I use both archways and fences on the same grid square because I like the ornate and custom look it gives. I also added a level above the living room, which is basically just like a terrace. I use these multiple sized base game windows to help bring in a lot of light, and while it wasn't exactly private from the outside, it does look really nice. Even your most private or modest Sims probably won't mind. The courtyard walls are made using a regular wall, adding in the new doorways that came with the kit, and then changing the walls to a taller, but like still half wall height, if that makes any sense. And then using the dine out fences wall trim. But I'll probably get more into the courtyard a little later. The first room I work on is the kitchen. I expanded it and made it way more colorful using a lot of the yellow and blue stuff in the game. So far I've made 2 riads. In my other one it was a lot more empty, but for this one I wanted it to look lived in, as if I built this for the household that I was playing with back in 2017. So with that in mind, that's why there's so much clutter on the kitchen table and the countertops. Most of it is from the Build By catalog, but some of it is from the debug menu. There's also just like a shit ton of tea kettles and stuff like that everywhere, and I really appreciate a culture that drinks a lot of tea, I guess. I don't know, they probably drink coffee too, but I personally am a tea fan. So anytime I could squeeze that into a build, I just do. The next room I get to is the parents' bedroom. This is the bedroom that has the balcony facing the front of the house. To be honest, I didn't know what I wanted to do for this room. When I was decorating for here, I was just losing a lot of steam. By the time I got to this room, I had been already at it for some time, so I was kind of just like out of creativity. I aimed for just a lot of warm tones and hoped for the best. The room has a little alcove that has their dresser in it, but I think in real life that alcove is probably for prayer. I don't know though. They also have a huge ass ensuite, which will be in the screenshots later, along with the other bathrooms. Their bathroom is how you get to their private balcony. Their balcony has those enormous fucking bongs. But for the sake of this build, we're just assuming that it's like only a hookah or something. I also decided to update the plants that would go on the balcony, which probably serve to give some more privacy, and just the new ones look a lot better than the old ones did. The next room is Naima, the photographer's room. She was a teen when I made the household. I guess her room had the most CC in it because it was really bare by the time I got to it. I can't believe I just left random photos of her and her family on the wall, but I guess at the time I didn't realize you can alt place them to look better, or just downright take them with her when she moved out. When I redecorated this room, I used a lot of blues and greens and tried to make it with a teen sim in mind. I also added 2 cameras in the room because I was making this as if Naima was staying here. One of the cameras is fake, that's the one that's on her dresser, and the working one is in the bookcase. There we go. For her private balcony, I put nail polish on the side table because I think teenage me would have wanted to do my nails in a chill spot like that outdoors. It was also while working on this balcony that I realized that I forgot to put lighting on both of them, so I went back and did that. The lighting in the living room is a little weirder or darker than I normally do. I saw in the YouTube riad tours that places that have the open air seating have lots of shade around, like in the bedrooms and hallways and stuff, since you get plenty of light and the sun from the top. So in this house, I imagined that it would be the same, that a sim living here could enjoy the skylight but still have the rest of the living room, like the outer parts, to be darker and shaded. From this room, you can look straight up past the second level and see the sky, which also means that anyone walking around the second floor above it can also hear and see everything going on in the living room. I changed up a bit of the layout, but the first floor had a laundry room and a hall between the living room and the kitchen, which was where the dining area was, but I got rid of that dining area. Since I got rid of the quote-unquote dining room, aka just a table and a hallway, I added a large table outside. It's close to the kitchen window, but of course in-game your sim would have to walk around to serve and eat food there. Back in the day we didn't have lounge chairs, so we had to combine single seats and benches to make something that like resembled them. This means that I got to this part of the build and I was just left with extra chairs and benches that I didn't need. I kept some of the seating area by the pool, but I also put in real lounge chairs. It's kind of funny looking back that Sims builders would have to attempt to make real life stuff out of random shit before EA thinks to include it. Like, I've been using upper cabinets to make storage and entertainment systems in a lot of my builds, but now that's not necessary anymore because the Dream Home Decorator game pack has modular stuff. I use the upper ones because I didn't want Sims to put plates there. I also use a lot of gabled roofs to make ramps for garages or accessible public buildings, but who knows, maybe we might see those come out officially one day too. I kept the landscaping pretty much the same. I just bunched the plants and stuff up closer together than they were before. That's all for this renovation. I really like how it came out. I'm not as impressed with it as I was when I renovated the Snowyscape stuff, but the pack items itself are gorgeous. I think it's my own build that I'm kind of like over, I guess. I do like how the teenage room came out. It's the parents' room that I think I was kind of stuck with, and it shows and it's like not great. Anyway, like I said, overall I like how it came out, and I hope you guys like it too, and thank you for watching.